This is just a little brief video to review some things about fractions that you might forget. Just to want to let you know that math builds on itself. What that means is that the things that you learned in a lower grade, you will still need as you learn how to do things in your current grade. And this short video, again, just to say again, is going to be, this will be things that you need to do in order to work with fractions. So, things that you'll need to know in order to work with fractions. In order to work with fractions, you're going to need to know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. When you're working with fractions, you're going to have to figure out what a numerator is, a denominator. You're going to need to know what an improper fraction is. You're going to need to know what a mixed number is. You're going to need to know what greatest common factor is. And you're going to need to know what least common multiple are. You're also going to have to know things like what it means to reduce and what it means to find equivalent or equal. So those are some things you're going to need to know that you've done before, but things that you need to do in order to work with fractions. So the parts of a fraction. A fraction has a whole number. It can have a whole number, but it will have a numerator and a denominator. So the 5 is the whole number. The 5 is how many entire things that you have. The 8 is how many pieces whatever you're counting is broken up into. And the 7 in this case is how many pieces you could have. So you could have 5 and 7/8 pies. You have 5 whole pies. You have another pie cut in 8 pieces, but you only have 7 left. So you have 5 and 7/8. So the 5 is the whole number, the 7 is the numerator, the 8 is the denominator. The denominator is the bottom number in a fraction. So in this fraction, 6/9, the denominator is 9. The numerator is the top number in a fraction. So in this fraction, 4/9, the numerator is 4. An improper fraction is when the numerator is bigger than the denominator, or the top number is bigger than the bottom number. The improper fraction is when the numerator is bigger than the denominator, when the top number is bigger than the bottom. And those are some examples of improper fractions. 7/3, 214/67, 10/3, 148/16, and 67/12. So those are some examples of improper fractions. A mixed number is a whole number and then followed by a fraction. So you'll see this is a whole number, 16 and 5/6, and this is a mixed number, 16 and 5/6, and this is a mixed number, 11 and 5/8. Sometimes when you have a fraction, the denominator or the bottom number is 1. If that is the case, then then the whole fraction equals whatever the numerator is. So let me say that again. If you have a fraction with a denominator or bottom number of 1, then the fraction is equal to whatever it is in the numerator. So you'll see 17/1, that equals 17. You see 27/1, that equals 27. You see 117/1, that equals 117. You see 43/1, and that equals 43. So again, if the denominator equals 1, the value of that fraction is whatever that is on the top, whatever the numerator is. If the numerator and the denominator are the same, like in this one 8/8, then the value of the fraction is 1. if the numerator and denominator are the same, then the value of the fraction is 1. 8/8 equals 1. 119 over 19 equals 1. I'm sorry, 19 over 19 equals 1. 33 over 33 equals 1. So a number over itself equals 1. When you work with fractions, you are going to be asked to find the least common multiple. That means you're going to have to know how to count up by whatever that number is. So when you're looking for the least common multiple, you list the multiples of the numbers. That means you count up by that number of each number that you're going to compare. So what is the lowest number or the smallest number that they both have in common? So if you look at these numbers here, I'm looking for the least common multiple of 3 and 7. I listed the multiples of 3. I listed the multiples of 7. What is the lowest number they both have on their list? That number is the least common multiple. You will also be asked to find the greatest common factor when you work with fractions. And so the greatest common factor, that is the highest number that divides evenly into the two numbers or the two or more numbers being compared. So you write the number, you list the numbers that can divide evenly into that number, and you find the biggest number that is in both lists. So in this case, I'm looking for the greatest common factor of 6 and 18. I write the numbers that it takes to that you can use to multiply 6. That would be 1 times 6 equals 6, so I have a 1 and a 6. 2 times 3 equals 6, so I have 1, 2, 3, 6. I list the multiples or things that I multiply to get 18. And that's 1, 2, 3, 9, and 18. What is the greatest number in both lists? And that is 6. And in this case, 6 is the greatest common factor. So those are just some things that you're going to need to know when you work with fractions. That's not all that you need to know, but those are some of the things you need to know when you work with fractions. As you're working, if you get confused, come back with any of these things that I talked about, come back, watch the video, and watch the part of the video that you need so that it can help you learn and understand the newer things that you're learning in class.